Chicago Bears fans, NFL draft nerds, welcome in to Rogue Football. We've got a 7-round Chicago Bears mock draft on deck for you here today. Really excited to get into it. The Bears are one of the more polarizing franchises in the league just because they've always been looking for the quarterback. You know, they've had a lot of really good defenses over the years. But now they bring in Ben Johnson. I'm fired up about that for them. I really am. I think Ben Johnson with Caleb Williams, this is a really good situation. And then you've got your top two receivers, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. I think Cole Kmet is a very underrated tight end overall. You went out and massively upgraded the interior of the offensive line in a big way. Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, Joe Thuney. I personally like Braxton Jones a good bit. I think Karen Amagaji, I still like the projection for him down the road as a talented, physically gifted athlete coming out of Yale, and then Darnell Wright. So I like the offensive line. I loved bringing in Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson. Drew Dahlman was one of my top free agents. You went and traded for Joe Thuney. Jonah Jackson comes in as well. To me, this is set up for success in a big way offensively. What would I like to see improved? You know, wide receiver 3, you could be better there. Olamide Zaccheaus, sure, but you could be better at wide receiver 3. You could have a real three-headed monster at receiver, and you tried to do that last year with Keenan Allen. He's no longer in the building. Everybody points to running back, and running back could be upgraded, right? Like DeAndre Swift is a pretty good runner. He's not the most physical guy. Roschon Johnson, pretty good. Travis Homer, pretty good. Like, you got guys, right? But you could stand to upgrade that spot. I think when I look at this offense, I think it's wide receiver 3 and running back where you could really see upgrades. Defensively, a lot of people point to the interior of the defensive line. I think you got your starters for the next 2 years, Grady Jarrett and Gervon Dexter. Yeah, you could add some more talent there. You went and brought in Deo Odeyingbo, obviously Montez Sweat there. I still like Austin Booker's projection moving forward. What's interesting to me at linebacker, I think TJ Edwards sticking around, but Tremaine Edmonds could be a cap cut following the 2025 season, depending on how things play out with his contract situation. I love what you got in your cornerback room. I love Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, while he's there, still a very good football player, but maybe you could be looking at a potential replacement at safety long-term. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at. I don't think there's a ton of major needs here. So we can kind of go into this draft and try to just get the best available players to us. The Bears have their first pick at 10 overall, and there's a lot of options going to be on the board. And we kick this thing off on the PFF mock draft simulator at 10 overall. What do we have? Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren to the Jaguars. That would be absolutely a lot of fun to see how that would play out. Will Campbell to the Raiders, also very interesting. Shedeur Sanders to the Jets, also very interesting after signing Justin Fields. Armand Membu to the Panthers. This is absolutely wild. These guys could be the players that come off the board, but it would be kind of wild the teams that they land with. You know, Armand Membu to a team with pretty good tackle situation, but obviously Moton up there in age. Jahdae Barron to the Saints at 9, and then we sit here with the Chicago Bears at 10 overall. Last time we did this exercise for the Bears, I did take Ashton Jeanty. I did. And I'm certainly not against doing that again because he's my number 3 overall prospect. And when you have somebody as talented as he is that could fit into the Ben Johnson offense, upgrade your physicality, upgrade your explosiveness, your pass protection, your receiving ability out of the backfield, all that stuff. It's hard to pass on that when you do have a fairly complete offense. Once again, I think that this offense is fairly complete. You're not having, I don't see any gaping holes on their offensive roster or on the roster in general overall. So Ashton Jeanty, tough to pass on. My top 2 guys are gone. Obviously, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham's up there for me. Tyler Warren's up there for me. Will Campbell. So Malachi Starks is someone who I value at this spot. Do I value him over Ashton Jeanty, 2 positions that are devalued overall within the landscape of NFL contracts? No, I don't. I think that I have Ashton Jeanty certainly ahead of him on my board. If you want to look at some premium positions to potentially upgrade, I do love Josh Simmons. Again, I don't think Braxton Jones is an issue. Honestly, I don't. I love Josh Simmons. I think you look at, do you need to upgrade at corner? No. You look at interior defensive line. To me, Derek Harmon would be the top option here. Walter Nolan, the flashes are unbelievable. You want more consistency out of him. He has the potential to be all-world, but I think he also has the potential to be very frustrating overall. I think Derek Harmon is the complete package. You have the tape, you have the breakout age, you have the versatility, the ability to play the run and be a productive pass rusher, the length, the combine. It all stacks up for Derek Harmon. Very good football player. Would I take Derek Harmon over Ashton Jeanty? Would I take Mike Green, Donovan Ezra? I mean, for me, in this list right here that we're seeing, it's clearly Ezraku, Scorton, and then Michael Williams. That's how I stack these guys. Again, I got to take Jeanty. I got to do it. He's too good to pass on here. If he falls to 10, which there's no guarantee he will, I think there's a solid chance he comes off the board in between 5, maybe even 4 and 9. He's that good of a football player. So I think that's what the Bears should do. I know that's putting a lot of eggs in one basket at running back, but he doesn't have to be everything for you for this offense to work. But if he does hit, he could be that last infinity stone for this offense. And of course, Caleb Williams has to take the steps forward in his development with Ben Johnson running the show for any of this to work out. And of course, you have a really difficult division that you're playing in. So there's hurdles, but I think that path potentially leads to the greatest overall reward. So as I mentioned, you could look at defensive interior for the future and for depth. I do like Omar Norman-Lott, TJ Sanders as guys that can be interior penetration style guys. CJ West and Alfred Collins, more of those run stuffers. CJ West has a little juice as a pass rusher too. Alfred Collins is a great interior run defender. Love Jamari Caldwell. There's a lot of guys. I think we can hold off on interior defensive line. We've got picks 39, 41, 72. And then there is a gap until 148. We can potentially trade down if we want to. We don't have to do that. So Xavier Watts is staring us in the face here. And, pairing him with Jaquan Brisker long-term, I think that could be magic. That could be dynamite. Just a really good group. And, of course, you could pair up the two Penn State safeties. But I think Xavier Watts on the back end a little bit more consistent. And Kevin Winston coming off injury. Watts is he's a ball hawk. Consistent free safety type player who doesn't miss a lot of tackles and generally is a good run defender. I think Xavier Watts would be a really good value at this point in the draft, so that's definitely high on the list. I think Nick Scorton is a real value here at this point. When you look at his 2023 tape, he shows pretty much everything you could ask for, and he's still only 20 years old. Unbelievably talented, physically gifted young guy who is being overlooked in this draft class for whatever reason. I think he should be a top 20 pick, bar none. At wide receiver, we do have Jaden Higgins. I love that. I like Alec Iomanner as well. Jaden Higgins as a power slot early on in his career, and he obviously has the prototype kind of X body style. Some good options. Ultimately, I have a really hard time passing on Nick Scorton and just saying, look, he can rush from the interior as well. He's shown that on tape. He can rush two-point stance, two hands in the dirt. He can do it all. Like standing up over a center or a guard, hand in the dirt, two hands in the dirt, doesn't matter. He can rush the passer. And he can do it from 5, he can do it from 7, 9, he can do it from the interior as well. I think Nick Scorton, go watch him as a 19-year-old. at Purdue in 2023 before he put on all that bad weight because Texas A&M doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Pass rush and waves is going to win you championships. Nick Scorton's going to help you do that. And the good thing, we have a pick 2 picks later. Absolutely love that. So now we can address potentially wide receiver. We can address safety. Still got Xavier Watts sitting there on the board. At safety, so like, where's the drop-off point, I think? Because I think Brisker has versatility to do some different things for you. I don't think he's a true free safety, middle-of-the-field guy as much as an Xavier Watts is. Where's the drop-off there? I think it's after Andrew Makuba. I think Lathan Ransom is more of a box guy. Jonas Sanker's a good safety too, kind of underrated guy. Billy Bowman has some ball hawking skills. Incomplete overall evaluation, though, for him. And then you look at wide receiver. To me, you've got a lot of guys that can get the job done as a wide receiver 3. They don't have to be the wide receiver 1, which kind of to me makes it less, or wide receiver 2 for that matter, less of a, I think I got to go Xavier Watts here. I just think he's too good of a player to continue to pass up on. And at wide receiver, I feel confident that we will get our guy at 72. Now, you could say, let's continue to upgrade that defensive front. Let's just make sure. I mean, yeah, TJ Sanders. I think there's a clearer runway at safety than there is interior defensive line right now. Do love TJ Sanders, though. Love Jamari Caldwell. Jordan Phillips is a lot. I mean, the list goes on of talented guys on the interior. So let's take Xavier Watts. Let's do it. Love that pick. Then we get to 72. Love Femi Oladejo. If y'all been watching, you know I've been drafting him a ton in this range and even a little earlier. Now, the one position we talked about that we haven't really looked at, linebacker, really interesting. In this, Dennis Allen defense, can Chris Paul Jr. have a big-time role as an off-ball linebacker? I think he could. I think Demetrius Knight could too. Again, Tremaine Edmonds is going to be a starter this year. You're paying him a ton of money. TJ Edwards is a good football player. Those guys have the ability to get the job done, so I don't think we have to force the issue there. It would just be if we kind of feel like it's the best value. If you're a Bears fan, let me know in the comment section below what you think about Tremaine Edmonds moving forward, just with how much he cost, the production, the overall level of play. Would love to know what y'all think. So we've still got Kyle Williams and Jalen Knoll. I love these guys. I like Jalen Royals a lot too. I think I like the refinement of Kyle Williams and Jalen Knoll a little bit better than Jalen Royals, but Royals would be good too. I think this is the time to strike because, again, and I love Torrey Horton as well. Don't have a pick until 148. We could trade down here, potentially. See what somebody's willing to give up for us to move down to potentially have another throw at the dartboard before 148. Seahawks are at 82. Do we want to move all the way to 118? I don't think so. So would 82 and 137 be enough for me to move down? Probably not, actually. So I think we're going to stick and pick here. We're going to take... The thing about... So Kyle Williams, I think, has more potential to be an outside guy. But, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze can both play outside. I don't think... And Jalen Knoll, he can also play some outside. I think he should be more of a slot receiver. I think Jalen Royals can move around the formation. I think Kyle Williams, just his yak ability is something special. That's what we're going to go with here. At 72 overall. Exciting stuff. So looking at this board so far, through 72 picks, Ashton Jeanty, Nick Scorton, Xavier Watson, Kyle Williams. If I was a Bears fan, I would be absolutely elated about this situation. Now, to me, Ty Robinson is somebody who consistently, I don't know why he falls down the board on these mock drafts, but Ty Robinson, he's explosive. I think as a pass rush and waves type of guy, he can get the job done for you. I like that fit a lot for them. I absolutely do. Now, we don't have to just turn the pick in. We can take a look around here. Yeah, I'm going to value him over those linebackers. Offensive tackle, you can always look at tackle. You can always look at the interior. I don't know why Miles Frazier is always available so late. He's a good football player. But yeah, let's go ahead and put Ty Robinson to the Windy City. Love it. All right. Sitting here at 233. After pick 72, it becomes real slim pickings in terms of how many picks the Bears have, which is why I like the trade down option, but you don't have to do it, certainly. I do like Malachi Moore as a late round flyer. Can never have too many good pass catchers. A lot of my guys are off the board. At tight end, could Oronde Gadsden have a role as a just move guy, F tight end? I do like that potentially quite a bit, and I think that's a great value at this point. Let's go ahead and turn that in. All right. So, I mean, we have really, I think, kind of hit this thing out of the park. Like Clay Webb, especially at this point in the draft. I like Shamar James a lot. I think he's an underrated guy out of Florida. Really showcased what he can do for you at the Senior Bowl and his ability to diagnose and fire downhill and then also cover backs out of the backfield. I think that could be a sneaky future role player or even starter in this league. All right. So PFF likes this one. Top 35% of Bears drafts don't really care what they think about it, though. Bottom line is Ashton Jeanty, again, I think that could be that final piece, the final stone for your infinity gauntlet there on offense. Nick Scorton, Xavier Watts, massively upgrading the defense and providing versatility, providing playmaking. Kyle Williams, that third piece to the pass-catching puzzle at wide receiver, a much more talented player than Olamide Zaccheaus. You have Cole Kmet as well, who's going to contribute in the passing game, and Ashton Jeanty too. And then just value picks, Ty Robinson, Oronde Gadsden, Shamar James. If you're a Bears fan, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.